The dream world of the gambler. What is that? Welcome again to another episode of the 1% in Recovery podcast, where we encourage you to laugh every day. work hard on recovery, relationships, job, business, school, just work, and to love unconditionally. Put much more love out there and watch much more love return because, as we say, recovery is beautiful. Your EQ is your IQ, and you cannot outthink an emotional issue. Now, we keep encouraging people, go to the website, lifeiswonderful.love, L-O-V-E. Download the free, I repeat, the free Recovery Growth Scorecard. That is where you start to change the neuroplasticity in your brain. You start to introduce natural dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin. Start doing the things that you can today to heal. And since most things on the lists, on the scorecard are free, you really get to jumpstart your recovery as you try to move forward. Now, let's jump in to this week's episode. The dream world of the gambler. In essence, the dream world of the gambler is the gambler being high, being drunk, being in another world. We talk about a compulsive gambler having three characteristics. Inability to accept reality, and that's why they're able to enter into a dream world. The emotional insecurity and the immaturity. And so the dream world, and within this dream world, a gambler doesn't just want to be rich. He assumes he's going to be super rich. When I mean super rich, I'm talking about the yachts. I'm talking about the first class travel. I'm talking about $1 million bank accounts. I'm talking about not only living a luxurious lifestyle, but also taking care of all your family members. And none of that is a reality. Like in the comic book, it does state that pathetically, not even the smallest dream comes true. And that is what really kind of hammers home the point, is how the gambler is so drunk, so high, so out of it, that they can't see that they're constant losing more, and still holding out belief that someday, not only are they going to break even, that they are going to get on a win streak and then become rich. Not even thinking that the gambling industry wants to do the same thing. They want to get rich. So you can't have both parties get rich, the gambler and the gambling industry. And since the gambling industry has more money, more resources, so they have a bad weekend, they can withstand it and keep moving forward. Since they have all the manipulation in terms of the psychology, either the hooks to get you to gamble, to keep you gambling, to give you those so-called free spins, free play, none of that is there. And that they actually know what they're doing in terms of gambling, and then of course they have the greater odds. So they have all the cards, and gamblers really don't have anything to stand on except this unrealistic hope that is never there, that never comes to fruition. And so gamblers will still keep going down this road, creating more debt, creating greater chaos, creating greater pressure on themselves and their family. Because most gamblers will take out 6 other family members. They're taking out the spouse, they're taking out the kids, and usually most people have, at least a couple kids. They're affecting either the parents or one of the parents, maybe one of the siblings, and they're doing all this damage. Because when you're gambling and you're value of money has no value. So then you keep getting loans, or you keep running up credit cards, you keep getting payday loans, or you're getting loans from family or friends, or you go to the bank, or you're dealing with trusts, or you're dealing with customers, whatever the cash flow. Let's say you own a business or you have a family business, because a lot of gamblers are in family businesses, and then they get into trouble and they get bailed out. Most gamblers have always been bailed out once or twice, more usually at least twice, and then those bailouts just turn into just sheer destruction, sheer misery, and really need to get to the point where it doesn't happen. So that's why, family members really cannot bail out the gambler, because it just gets worse and worse. And then the gambler just stays in this dream world thinking that their luck will change, their system is going to come true, that they're about to go on a run. All of that false. And so the key thing is we've got to start changing the dream world. And the only way to change the dream world is when someone comes into recovery and really has a desire to stop and understands the percentages that 99% of all gamblers lose, especially in the long run, that they need to change their character. That's how it's done. You change your character, you get human help, you get spiritual help, and you move forward, and that will take you to the next level. But we got to get out of this dream world. You got to stop being high, you got to stop being drunk, stop thinking that, as long as I get into action, because that's what the gamblers will say, I need to just be in action. That is the essence, where you're just kind of numbing your whole body. You're in another world. You just feel totally calm. And that usually happens as you're driving to a casino, as you're thinking about the bets that you're going to make later on in the day. That is just getting you high. So that addresses the dream world. And Life is Wonderful, the 1% in Recovery podcast. We have a way out. We do have a course, Strong Leader, Strong Character. It's less than $100. It's only $84, where we talk about all the spiritual principles, all the character traits: honesty, hope, faith, courage, discipline, perseverance. 3 questions on each. 36 questions in all. Over 6 weeks. You will truly change who you are if you do the homework, if you do the work. Now, you can also get one-on-ones with me, but if you just get the course and you move forward, you will start to recover, start to understand the 12 steps, start to understand yourself, start building up your self-esteem, start creating better relationships. That is what it is and what needs to happen. So with that, we will bid you adieu till next week, as we continue to explore different pieces of recovery. With that, that is the end of this episode of the 1% in Recovery podcast.